History is a tapestry of convenient lies. We are taught that the 1950s were an era of white picket fences and post-war prosperity. But beneath that polished veneer, a terrifying transaction was taking place. One that would redefine what it means to be human. February 20, 1954, Palm Springs, California. President Dwight D. Eisenhower suddenly vanishes from the public eye. For 12 hours, the leader of the most powerful nation on Earth is off the grid. The press corps, panicked and sensing a crisis, is told a story that has become the ultimate tell in the world of deep cover operations. The president chipped a tooth on a piece of fried chicken. He was at a local dentist. But if you search the Eisenhower library, you will find no record of that dentist. No bill, no follow-up, because Eisenhower wasn't in a dental chair. He was standing on the tarmac of Muroc Air Force Base, staring at a craft that defied every law of Newtonian physics he had ever known. He wasn't there to fight a war. He was there to sign a lease. This is the Greada Protocol. This is the day the United States government traded your genetic sovereignty for the secrets of the stars. This is the opening act of a 70-year harvest. Eisenhower didn't just meet one group. He was caught in the middle of a cosmic Cold War. According to whistleblowers like William Cooper and former intelligence officers, the first group to arrive were the Nordics. They looked like us, perfected versions of us. They didn't want a treaty. They wanted our evolution. Their terms were simple but impossible. Give up your nuclear weapons. Stop the atmospheric testing. Stop poisoning your world. If you do, we will teach you how to live among the stars. Eisenhower, the general who had just seen the horrors of the Atlantic and Pacific theaters, looked at the Soviet Union and said, no. He couldn't dismantle the nukes. He chose power over peace. That's when the others stepped out of the shadows. The Greys, the entities from the Zeta Reticuli system. They didn't care about our nuclear morality. They wanted a trade. They offered the integrated circuit, the laser, and the smart metal, salvaged from the Roswell crash. The price? Access. They wanted the right to establish underground bases on American soil, and the right to sample the human population for biological research. Eisenhower, believing he could control the situation, signed the Tau-IZ Treaty. What Eisenhower didn't know, what he couldn't have known, is that the Greys weren't researchers. They were a dying race of clones looking for a fresh biological reservoir. And we were the only ones on the map. Deal was struck. Now, the technology had to be laundered. You can't just give a 1950s engineer a piece of alien memory metal and expect them to understand it. You have to seed it. Colonel Philip J. Corso, a man whose service record spans the National Security Council and the Pentagon, was the gardener for this secret harvest. In his explosive memoir, The Day After Roswell, he details his time at the Army's Research and Development Desk. His mission was to take foreign technology, code for ET wreckage, and hand it to defense contractors like Hughes Aerospace and Bell Labs. Think about the timeline. For thousands of years, humanity's fastest mode of travel was a horse. Then, in the span of just 10 years after 1947, we suddenly invent the transistor, fiber optics, and the laser. Corso revealed that the silicon chip wasn't a human invention. It was a reverse-engineered component from the brains of the craft, a neural link system that allowed the pilots to navigate with their thoughts. Fiber optics weren't for telecommunications. They were the light-based nervous system of the ships. But here is the aspect least discussed in conspiracy circles. The tech was a trap. By seeding us with the integrated circuit, the Greys didn't just help us progress. They ensured that every piece of human infrastructure would be built on their architecture. They gave us the digital grid so they could inventory their property. Every time you use a smartphone, You are using a tracking device designed by the very entities that purchased the rights to your DNA in 1954. By the mid-1960s, the setback occurred. The government realized they had invited a wolf into the house. The limited samples agreed upon in the Greada Treaty had exploded into an epidemic. Thousands of Americans were vanishing without a trace, and when they were returned, they were broken. The secret facility at Tulsa, New Mexico, a joint U.S. alien base, became the heart of the darkness. Thomas Costello, a security officer who worked there, smuggled out photos that the world was never meant to see. He described Level 7, known among insiders as Nightmare Hole. This is where the treaty was truly violated. Costello described rows of vats containing human parts and creatures in various stages of genetic mutation. But why? This is the glandular truth that mainstream UAP research ignores. The Greys are a biological dead end. They are clones. They have no digestive system. They don't eat. They absorb nutrients through their skin. And the nutrients they need come from us. Specifically, they need the secretions from the human adrenal and pituitary glands, the chemicals our bodies produce during extreme terror and pain. They bathe in a slurry of bovine and human blood to stay alive. We aren't their allies. We are their biological pharmaceutical factory. The abductions aren't for science. They are for harvesting. We are now entering the full throttle phase. The 70-year lease is up. 1954 to 2024. 2026 is the year of the audit. This is why the Pentagon is suddenly disclosing UFOs. This is why Navy pilots are on 60 Minutes talking about Tic Tacs. It's not because the government wants to be honest. It's because they can no longer hide the visitors. The treaty is expiring, and the Greys are no longer sticking to the shadows. But while you worry about disclosure, a breakaway civilization has already left you behind. Using the technology purchased with human lives, a secret elite has built a parallel world. They have Solar Warden, a fleet of ships that patrol the solar system. They have zero-point energy. They have cured every disease. But they didn't share it with us. They used it to build arcs in the event of a planetary collapse. They are the Quislings, the humans who sold out their own species to secure a seat at the table of the Galactic Federation. Paul Hellyer, a former Canadian defense minister, warned us. Haim Eshed, the head of Israel's space program, confirmed it. There is a Galactic Federation, and we are the uninformed labor at the bottom of the pyramid. The goal is within reach, but for the average human, it appears impossible. We are the livestock that just realized the fence is electric. The climax is here. The audit has begun. Look at the surge in DNA testing sites. Look at the missing millions in our national parks. Look at the rapid push for cashless digital society. It is the final inventory before the contract renewal. The Greys have spent 70 years mapping our lineage. They have soul mapped us, trying to find the spark that makes us human, the one thing they can't clone. Some researchers believe the abductions are part of a massive soul harvest, an attempt to transfer their consciousness into human biosuits. Eisenhower thought he was saving America. He thought he was winning the Cold War. But in the resolution of this 70-year tragedy, we find that the Cold War was just a distraction to keep us from looking up. All loose ends are being tied. The men in black are being replaced by official disclosure. The secret is out because the secret is no longer necessary. They have what they came for. The Greada Protocol wasn't a treaty. It was a sales receipt. The next time you look at your smartphone, remember where the silicon came from. The next time you look at the stars, remember the chipped tooth of 1954. And the next time you're alone in the dark and you feel a hum in your teeth, don't pray for a savior. You were already sold to the visitor. But this is only the first layer of the abyss. The powers that signed that 1954 treaty don't want you watching this. They want you distracted. They want you silent. Break the silence. Join the resistance of the informed. Hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications for Beyond the Known. We don't just report the news. We decode the shadow history they are trying to delete.